Hello, good morning, and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, historical calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting that we might also gather throughout the show, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Xander, and you, of course, are you. Today is Friday, also known as Friday, August 19th, 2022. What am I doing with my fingers? Anyway, what happened on this date in history, you may ask? Well, I will tell you. Starting us off in the year 43 BC, Octavian, later known as Augustus, compelled the Roman Senate to elect him consul. And doing a significant time jump, jumping up into 1274, Edward I was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey after returning from the Ninth Crusade. Dang. And there was like 13 crusades or something. Actually, let's see here. How many crusades were there? There were 8. Okay, 8 major crusade expeditions. But this guy came back from the 9th, so maybe it was it was a lesser crusade, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, in 1399, King Richard II of England surrendered to his cousin Henry. 1524, Emperor Charles V's troops besiege Marseille in France. In 1561, Mary, Queen of Scots, arrived in Leith, Scotland, to assume the throne after spending 13 years in France. 1587, Sigismund III became King of Poland and the Grand Duke of Lithuania. Oh, cool. 1591, French King Henry IV occupied Rouen. Alright. Good old beard, collar, double chin looking guy there. 1627, Prince Frederick Henry conquered Fort Gronolo. Alright. 1692, during the Salem witch trials, 5 more people were hanged for witchcraft, a total of 19 in Salem, Massachusetts. Dang. Yeah, that was some rough times back then. 1745, the Jacobite Rising of 1745, Bonnie Prince Charlie rose his standard at Glenfinnan, Scotland, igniting the Second Jacobite Rebellion. Yep. 1772, King Gustav III seized effective control of Swedish government and restored full power of monarchy, which had been subordinate to Parliament since 1720. Sounds like a takeover right there. 1791, Benjamin Banneker he sent a copy of his almanac and wrote a letter to Thomas Jefferson criticizing his pro-slavery stance and requesting justice for African Americans using language from the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, so even back then, well, I don't know, I've been getting conflicting things, because when they wrote this, they were trying, slavery, they didn't look at back then as we do as we do today. We look at it as a racial thing. Slavery was just part of life, but they were trying to, they were taking the first steps towards, getting rid of it, towards slavery abolition. But this suggests mentality was otherwise. So I don't know. So with so many places online being controlled by the left, and that mentality and everything that goes along with it. They are trying to actively, rewrite and change history. So what if this article straight up is a lie? So I don't know. It requires a further investigation. We have a coup d'etat in 1821, a failed liberal coup against French King Louis the 18th. They're talking about liberals. Here we go. 1839, details of Louis Daguerre's first practical photographic process were released in Paris. The invention of photography. 1887, Dmitry Mendeleev made a solo ascent by balloon to an altitude of 11,500 feet, or 3.5 kilometers, above Klin, Russia, to observe an eclipse. Pretty cool. 1905, Russian Tsar Nicholas II installed Imperial Duma without legislative powers. What's that? Let's see here. State Duma, or Imperial Duma, was the lower house, part of the Legislative Assembly in the late Russian Empire, which held its meetings in the Taurida Palace in St. Petersburg. It convened 4 times between April 27th, why can't I read? What's wrong with my brain? 27th, 1906, and the collapse of the empire in February of 1917. Dang. So for further reading about this particular thing, I will post this in the underbar. There we go. And I forgot to change what the actual name of the picture is. So hold on. There we go. Pictures. There we go. Let's see. Alright. What else happened on this date? 1914. Elmer Rice's play On Trial premiered in New York City. Oh, that's a cool hat. Look at that. I want that hat. Hat looks like it's too big for his head. Looks like a kid wearing his dad's cap or something. 1914, in a message to the Senate, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson urged the U.S. people to be neutral in fact as well as name. Yeah, while we were sending supplies to the Allied powers. Okay. 1918, Irving Berlin's musical Yip Yip Yap Hank premiered in New York City. Was this guy Aang or something? Like, Yip Yip! Let's go, Appa! 1921, Detroit's Tiger Ty Cobb was forced to get 3,000 hits against Boston Red Sox, the youngest ever. Nice. I'm wondering, based off of the word now, I believe it's 3,000 hits, period. Not 3,000 hits specifically against that one team. So, but yeah. 1922, U.S. National Championship Women's Tennis, Germantown Country Club in Pennsylvania. Oh, the good old P-head. Mola Bjurstedt Mallory defeated Helen Wills Moody 6-3, 6-1 for her 7th U.S. single crown. Nice. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that she has a pea head. I'm saying her head looks like a pea, a fruit. That's wow. I'm stupid. Peas are not a fruit. What the hell? Anyway, 1941, Romania annexed the Transnistria territory from the Soviet Union after Operation Barbarossa. 1942, Winston Churchill visited Field Marshal Montgomery's headquarters in Burj Al Arab. That has to be somewhere in Northern Africa. Yeah, 1942. Also in 1942, during World War II as well, General Friedrich Paulus ordered the German Sixth Army to conquer Stalingrad. Yeah, and that battle lasted for a long time. Siege of Stalingrad, one of the longest and bloodiest, sieges and battles in all of the history of ever. Not just World War II, it was a rough. 1944, U.S. General Omar Bradley visited British General Bernard Montgomery. Yeah, Monty Boy. Yeah. 365 days later, in 1945, Phillies' Jimmy Fox, at the age of 37, pitched the first 7 innings versus Reds and won. Nice. 1951, Bill Vereek of the St. Louis Browns sent Eddie Galal, a 3'7" little person, to pinch hit. He walked on 4 pitches. Alright. Okay. Why were there midgets in baseball? That'd be interesting watching an all little people version of sports. I'm sure that exists somewhere. God, I sound like Eric Cartman right now. 1953, democratically elected Prime Minister of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh, was overthrown in a coup orchestrated by the United Kingdom under the name Operation Boot, and the United States under the name the TPAJAX Project. Tabajax Project. Okay. Well, that's not cool. What are we doing meddling with the affairs of other nations? That's not cool. 1954, U.S. Ralph Bunche named Undersecretary of the UN. Alright. 1955, Wins Radio of New York City announced it will not play copy white cover versions of R&B records. DJs play Fat Domino's Ain't That a Shame, no Pat Booms. Not Pat Booms. Okay. That's that's racially motivated one way or another, but yeah. 5 years later, in 1960, U.S. CIA pilot Francis Gary Powers, convicted of spying by USSR, the U-2 incident, sentenced to 3 years in prison plus 7 in a labor camp. He served 17 months before being exchanged for a captured Soviet KGB spy. And yeah, I saw a video just yesterday, I believe it was when the Russian equivalent of the Boy Scouts gave some U.S. diplomat or something like this elaborate, carved, mantelpiece to hang on the wall, and there was a wireless, like a cordless microphone that could be like activated. It's a whole thing. Like, actually, let me see if I can look it up. I'll post this video on the underbar. Soviet Boy Scouts troll. Spy. Cold War. Why can't I find this? Well. I'll find it later and I'll post it in the underbar. Anyway, 1961, U.S. Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson visited West Berlin. Cool. 1976, President Gerald Ford won Republican presidential nomination at KC Convention. Alright? I don't like the look at that guy. He looks really shady. And 1980, George Brett in his hitting streak at 30. So like at the age of 30, or 30 in a row, or what? Where's Scott? Where's my baseball guy? I need to know. 1983, LSU football player Billy Cannon sentenced to 5 years for counterfeiting. Ooh, wow. Why would you need to counterfeit? What are you doing? What are you counterfeiting? Money? What are you counterfeiting? 5 years though. That seems like a little light. 1984 PGA Championship Men's Golf, Shoal Creek. Lee Trevino won his second PGA Championship by 4 shots from Gary Player and Lanny Wadkins. Also in 1984, Republican convention in Dallas, Texas nominated incumbent Ronald Reagan for president. 365 days later, in 1985, following the Rubicon speech 4 days earlier, Archbishop Desmond Tutu snubbed P.W. Botha's invitation to attend the meeting to discuss the role and actions of the police and security forces in South Africa. Dang. 1988, New York Rangers signed ex-Canadian great Guy Lafleur out of retirement. 1991, conservative members of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union attempted to depose Mikhail Gorbachev in a coup d'etat. Good old scar head, or birthmark head, or whatever. He had some kind of thing on his head. It certainly wasn't hair. 1995, Mike Tyson returned to the ring after serving 3 years in prison and disqualifies Peter McNeely in 89 seconds. Wow. 1999, in Belgrade, tens of thousands of Serbians rallied to demand the resignation of Slobodan Milosevic as president of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. 2001, Canadian Open Women's Golf at Angus Glen Golf Club. Annika Sorenstam won by 2 from Kelly Robbins. Also 2001, German Ferrari driver Michael Schumacher won the Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hungaroring to clinch his 4th F1 World Drivers' Championship and equal Alain Prost's record of 51 Grand Prix victories. 2004, U.S. swimmer Michael Phelps wrapped up the 200, 400 meter individually medley double at the Athens Olympic when he won the 200 meter, or when he won the 200 meter, 1 minute 57.14 seconds, OR, whatever, ahead of teammate Ryan Loschet. 2008, The Fame debut album by Lady Gaga was released, later to receive Grammy Award Album of the Year and the Best Electronic/Dance Album of 2009. She just doesn't look right in that picture. Like, Something wrong with her face. It's weird. Like, I don't know. 2014, NASA satellites took photos showing the eastern basin of the Aral Sea had for the first time completely dried up. Yeah. Massive, horrible thing. There's hundreds of boats just scattered across the desert over there now in what used to be water. Awful. Entire fishing industries, entire economies, entire towns just gone. Cities gone. Just awful. 2018, Novak Djokovic defeated Roger Federer 6-4, 6-4 in the final of the Cincinnati Masters to become the first player to win all 9 Masters 1000 tennis tournaments since the series started in 1990. So 28 years, and finally somebody did it. Also in 2018, Rudy Giuliani, U.S. President Donald Trump's lawyer, claimed in an interview with NBC Chuck Todd that truth isn't truth. Wow. What is? You know? 2019, just 3 years ago, Sudanese ex-president Omar al-Bashir admitted he had received $90 million from Saudi Arabian royalties at the start of his corruption trial in Khartoum. Yep, lot paid for. Anyway, before we move on into births and deaths, were there any articles that you found specifically interested, or interesting? Start a dialogue. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let's talk about stuff and whatnot. Moving on into births, we have John Flamsteed, born on this date in 1646. He was an English astronomer and the first astronomer royal, born in Denbigh, England, dying in 1719. Dang. And in 1851, we have Charles E. Hires, was an American pharmacist, inventor, and manufacturer of the Hires root beer beverage, born in Illisinboro, Pennsylvania, dying in 1947. I might have some root beer after this. I have some Dr. Shasta right here. It's still cold. 1871, Orville Wright, an American aviator, one of the Wright brothers, born in Dayton, Ohio, dying in 1912. Dang, so... Wow, he was only 40-something years old. If that. 39? Wait, what? Died in 1948. Wait, what the why does it say dying in 1912, but here it says 1948? Okay, that's weird. OnthisDay.com, if you're watching, you know what, you have some discrepancies here you need to explain. That's interesting. 1878, Manuel Luis Quezon y Monilla, second president of the Philippines, serving from 1935 through 42. He was born in Baler, Aurora, Philippines, dying in 1944. Did he die in 1944, though? Yes, he did. Okay, well, maybe. I don't know. 1883, Gabrielle Coco Chanel, French fashion designer, Chanel, born in Namur, France, dying in 1971. Olga de Nash was born on this date in 1902, was a U.S. humorous poet. I'm a stranger here myself, and Masquerade Party, born in Rye, New York, dying in 1971. What does this guy look like? Okay, well, you're not going to show me, so screw that guy. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay. 1919, in the year 1919, Malcolm Forbes, a U.S. publisher of Forbes magazine, born in Brooklyn, New York, dying in 1990. This must be the founder, Malcolm Forbes, but it says publisher. Oh. Let's see here. Publisher of Forbes magazine and known as a promoter of capitalism. Okay. Alright. Well. 1931, Bill Schumacher, a U.S. Racing Hall of Fame jockey, 8,833 career victories, Kentucky Derby 1955, 59, 65, 86. Born in Fabens, Texas, dying in 2003. Bill Clinton, born on this date in 1946, actual name is William Jefferson. He was a 42nd U.S. President, a Democrat in 1993 through 2001, born in Hope, Arkansas. Dang. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff wrong with everything about this guy, and especially his wife. So, then we have Satya Nadella, 1967, an Indian U.S. businessman, current CEO of Microsoft, or was the CEO of Microsoft at least, born in Hyderabad, India. And Matthew Perry, 1969, Canadian-U.S. actor, Chandler Bing on Friends, born in Williamstown, Massachusetts. So what makes him a Canadian? Did he get Canadian citizenship at some point? Christina Perry, 1986, U.S. singer-songwriter, Jar of Hearts, born in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. And then moving on to the deaths, we have Augustus Caesar, died on this date in the year 14. Gaius Octavius, he was the first Roman emperor from 27 BC to 1480, died at the age of 75. Dang. Then we have Blaise Pascal, passed away in 1662 on this date, 19th of August. He was a French mathematician, physicist, and a Christian philosopher. Pascal's Law, Pascal's Wager, died of a stomach tumor at 39. Now, what is Pascal's Law? So let me look that up just for hee-haws. It is a principle in fluid mechanics given by Blaise Pascal that states that a pressure change at any point in a confined incompressible fluid is transmitted throughout the fluid, that the same change occurs everywhere. Okay, yeah, so universal dispersance. That makes sense. I'm adding this link into the underbar as well for any further reading for your pleasure. 1822, Jean-Baptiste Joseph Delambre was a French mathematician and astronomer, died at 72. And Claude Graham White, 1959, he was an English aviation pioneer who was the first to make a night flight, dying at the age of 79. The first one to fly at night. Alright. Groucho Marx, hey, the cigar guy, with the glasses. Julius, a U.S. comedian, Marx Brothers, and You Bet Your Life, died at the age of 86. I had some Groucho Marx glasses once. We have Linus Pauling, 1994, a U.S. chemist, engineer, and peace activist, dying at the age of 93. And then that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to everything OMNI Coalition. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific Time. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and you are you. And until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles! Let's go, Brandon.